Hey y'all, it's Susie Bauer. I just wanted to share something with you because I was actually blown away by it. It's something I don't really pay attention to. So when I saw the number, it really was eye-opening because wow. I mean, it's progress, and I knew there was progress going on because I do track everything, but I hadn't actually looked at the big picture of when I first started to now. So seeing this number, and I'll show you in a minute, it's pretty incredible. Let me give you a quick little background of why I'm giving you this video right now. Progress. How are you tracking your progress? That's what this video is really about. It made me think, like, we need to talk about this. How are you tracking progress? There's a couple different ways that you can track it. You can weigh yourself, which I don't always recommend. Then you could do a tape measure and measure yourself that way. Just make sure it's in the same spot every single time. I kind of like to go off of like freckles as markers, but I have a lot of freckles. You could also do pictures. You could just stand, ladies, in like a sports bra or a bra and like a pair of shorts, just so you can see your form, and then that way you can see the progress as you continue to go on. There are other like trackers. I have the Sculpt Aim, but I'm also a personal trainer, so that's why I have that. Also use calipers. I use all of those on myself so I can track my progress and my clients' progress. But those are things that you don't have to have all of that. You can choose one or two of those, but you do need to be tracking your progress because the reason why is when you don't track your progress, you pretty much are robbing yourself of those small victories along the way. You see yourself every single day. So sometimes you don't see in the mirror some small changes. You don't see the body composition inside that's changing when you're losing body fat, but at the same time, you're starting to gain a little bit of muscle. Sometimes that scale doesn't move, but the composition, losing body fat, which is super important, is changing, but you can't see that on a scale with just a number. So you really need to be doing one of those things to track your progress. And you can do it on a weekly basis. You can do it on every 2 weeks. You can do it once a month. It doesn't matter when or how often you're doing it. You just need to try to be consistent with what you're doing. So really, the most important part about this is if you're doing it, say, every week, what you want to look at is the big picture. You want to see a trend where it's going down. All your things are going down. If weight loss is your goal, if weight gain is your goal, you obviously want to see it going up. But it's okay if you see a little jump and then it goes back down. That's okay. It's the big picture that is important. If you're only tracking it once a month, then you want to take your big picture as maybe 4 months, your progress of 4 months. As long as there's a downward trend, you're doing fine. You're okay. You can kind of tell things by like your progress by your clothing. Clothing is going to start feeling loose on you. It's not going to fit the same. So that's a good way to judge progress as well. You don't have to use numbers. You can use clothes, but I do recommend not using stretchy clothes as your progress. I'm guilty of wearing yoga pants all the time. So obviously my pants are always going to fit because they stretch. So that's not really a good gauge of progress. But I encourage people and my clients, take an outfit that you want to wear that you don't quite yet fit into and use that. Put that on and see how it fits. And then maybe a week or two later, put it back on. See if it's fitting a little bit looser. And that's a good way to track progress as well. But real quick, let me show you what happened, and then I'm going to tell you what I did. This right here is my fasting app. And basically, I don't know if you can see right there. Yeah. I have lost 29 pounds since last May 26th. So reason why I have this in a tracking app is because I used to do intermittent fasting before I got pregnant. And then once I got pregnant, I stopped doing it. Then about 5.5, 6 months postpartum, I was still breastfeeding, but I went back to intermittent fasting. Now, before you get all jumpy on me, let me tell you, when I was doing intermittent fasting prior to pregnancy, my eating window was about 2 to 4 hours. So then postpartum, my window, I look on here and my window was anywhere from 12 hours, or there was one day where it was like 13 hours. It never went, my fasting time never went more than 16 hours. I was still having like an 8-hour eating window, which is almost typical for most people, is about 10 hours. So it's not really, in my book, yes, it's intermittent fasting, but in my book and my comparison to myself and my history with intermittent fasting, 8 hours to me is huge. That's almost, double or 4 times what I was used to. So it technically wasn't fasting to me. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I was still breastfeeding at 5-6 months postpartum. I still am. He's 16 months right now. I'm still breastfeeding and I'm doing intermittent fasting. So let me disclaimer this really quick. Just because I am doing it doesn't mean I'm saying it's okay for every breastfeeding mother to do. It's something that I monitor very closely, my health, my progress, my son's health, and I make sure everything that I'm doing doesn't have an impact on my milk supply. But let's be real, right now he's 16 months. He's getting most of his calories from real food, not my milk. He doesn't nurse that often, but he still is being breastfed. So just keep that in mind. I am not saying everybody should breastfeed and do intermittent fasting, okay? Disclaimer. But so that's pretty much what I did, and I use this one app. It's called Fasting Secrets, and it's great because you can have like, see, I'm at 16 hours right now. It's like a little stopwatch, and it tracks, but it also keeps the history of your weight, or it keeps the history of your fast. So I could scroll all the way back to May, and that's how I know when I started and what my hours and my windows were, because I tracked it. So this is what I'm telling you, is it's super important to track progress and just to track everything that you can, honestly. Journal if you can. That is how I got so in tune and in touch with my body, is by tracking everything. So I highly encourage you to do that. If you don't know how to do any of this, I have been in this industry for 15 years, helping people figure out what their goals are, figure out a safe way to get there, and I can help you too if you need that help. So if you like this video, please comment, like, share, anything. I want to hear from you. I want to hear if you need help. I want to hear if you've been doing intermittent fasting, what your experiences are, how you like it. Please, I love talking to people about this. This is something that has been such a life changer for me. Once I discovered intermittent fasting, my life has completely changed. My clients' lives have completely changed. It is such a valuable tool to use in your weight loss, or I was using it also as to gain lean muscle mass and still be able to drop body fat at the same time. I was a competitor in fitness competitions, and I also did endurance races too. So it helped me get a lot. Like, I crushed a lot of PRs while I was doing intermittent fasting. So like I said, if you need any help, my contact information is below. Just give me a shout. I would love to chat with you and see what your goals are and if I can help you out, okay?